Hey guys, what's going on, dudes? It is David here. We are back with another video. Now, welcome to the Atlanta Falcons versus Seattle Seahawks game review. Now, as you can clearly see on the screen, this game finished 27-23. I knew that the Falcons needed to win this game because otherwise we would have went 0-3. Now we have the same record as the Seattle Seahawks, which is a bad thing, because the Seattle Seahawks are going to be battling for the top spot in the quarterback position. Now, looking at the quarters before I get into the stats, first quarter, pretty even. Second quarter, they were leading at the half. Third quarter, Atlanta Falcons ended up scoring 10 points compared to the Seahawks 3. But this is the most important quarter, and this means that when it mattered, the defense came in clutch. For the first three quarters, the defense was playing terrible. I gotta say that the defense was playing terrible. Fourth quarter came in clutch, and I'm very, very happy for this. But I also got something to say. Let's take a look at this. Marcus Mariota, 13 for 20, 229 yards, averaged 11.5 yards per throw, 1 touchdown, 1 interception. He was sacked 3 times, and he had a 99.8 passer rating. Geno Smith, 32 for 44. So that means the defense was terrible through these first 2 quarters against Geno Smith should not be having a game like this. 325 yards. They're making Geno Smith look like Tom Brady. 7.4 average per throw, 2 touchdowns, 1 interception. He was sacked twice, and he had a 99.2 passer rating. Rushing game. Because I'll get on into I have a whole thing about Marcus Mariota before I get into that. Rushing. Cordaelle Patterson, have a game, bro. Have a bow. 17 carries, 141 yards, 8.3 average per carry, 1 touchdown. And Marcus Mariota did get our first touchdown on the board, so I'll give that to him. But we're going to talk about something when we get later on into it, and it's below the receiving, so I know that's going to be coming up. But in total, we had 31 carries, 179 yards. We averaged 5.8 yards per carry, and we had 2 touchdowns. Seattle, we beat them on the running game. Thankfully, we beat them on the running game. Rashad Penny, biggest carry, 14 carries, 66 yards, 4.7 average yards, 0 touchdowns from the run. And they had a total of 23 carries, 112 yards, 4.9 yards per average, and their longest is 21 compared to our longest being 40 yards. This blew my mind. Receiving. Pitts, London, Zacchaeus, Ferguson, Patterson, Algier. Now we were missing Edwards, and we were missing Demir Burrs, so that's a big part of the reason why there were not that many options for the Falcons. Kyle Pitts, finally, look at what happens when you give Kyle Pitts the ball. 5 receptions, 87 yards, no touchdowns though. I wish he would have got a touchdown. 3 receptions from Drake London, 54 yards, and a touchdown. In total, we had 13 receptions, 229 yards, averaged 17.6 yards per catch, and our longest catch was 30 yards. Seattle just absolutely blew us when it came to the passing and receiving game. 32 receptions, 325 yards, 10.2 average yards per catch, 2 touchdowns. This right here tells me the defense could not stop Seattle's passing game. Because how does the receiver, out of all these receivers, have 32 receptions, 325 yards compared to our 229? That is almost 100 more yards. And I go back to the quarterback position real quick. 13 for 20, 229 yards, 325. Geno Smith is not better quarterback. I hate Marcus Mariota, but Geno Smith is not a better quarterback than Marcus Mariota. It's just his defense made him look like a better quarterback, and that just needs to change. And damn Pete's ions, I gotta say this: if the defense is conceding 23 to Seattle, and look what we did against New Orleans, damn Pete's needs to be fired at the end of the season. Now we get on to my favorite part: fumbles. Channing Wilson recovered 1 fumble. Caleb McGarry recovered 1 fumble. I want to say that's pretty good. Marcus Mariota How many times do I gotta say it? Anytime there's a Falcons game, Marcus Mariota's guaranteed to fumble the ball. There's gonna be one video on that I do a Falcons review where Marcus Mariota does not fumble the ball, and it's gonna be a surprise for me. 2 fumbles, 1 loss, 0 recovered. You hear that? So Caleb McGarry recovered one of his fumbles, and then Shannon Wilson recovered one of his fumbles. But 2 fumbles, 1 pick, and only how many touchdowns? 1 touchdown? I keep saying this week in, week out. That's a typical Marcus Mariota game. And when I do my podcast this week, when I talk about the highlights, I'll be able to go more in depth and give you honest my opinion. And I have a video coming out on who I think should be the starting quarterback when it comes to next game, which is going to be, I think, against the Cleveland Browns. But then we come to the defense. 3 players stood out for me. Rashaan Evans, Grady Jarrett, and Lorenzo Carter. Rashaan Evans, 9 solo tackles, 1 tackles for loss, 2 pass deflections. Grady Jarrett, 4 solo tackles, 1 sack, 3 tackles for loss, 0 pass deflections, 1 QB hit. Lorenzo Carter, 1 tackle, 1 sack, 1 tackle for loss, and he had 1 QB hit. Then we look at the Seattle Seahawks defense. At Jordan Brooks, I expect Jordan Brooks to be their best player on the defense because I love Jordan Brooks. I wish I got him in my fantasy league, but I didn't get him. But if I had to say somebody that looks up for him, I mean, they got, 3 sacks? They got 3 sacks from Darrell Taylor. They got another sack from Quentin Jefferson and then Kobe Bryant. And they also got 2 tackles for loss in Quentin Jefferson and Kobe Bryant. So, looking at this overall game, these are 2 teams I expect to be in the top 5 for next year's draft. I'm going to be honest with this. But I said last week that the Falcons needed to win this game against the Seattle Seahawks, and this just proves my point. Because if the defense is conceding 325 yards to the Seattle Seahawks, then something definitely needs to change. Arthur Smith also got to be calling a lot better plays because I saw a lot of tweets out there calling out Arthur Smith for his play calling and Dan Reeves for how bad the defense is playing through the first 3 quarters. But the one good thing that I could say at the end of this day, the one good thing I can say honestly at the end of this day, the defense, 4th quarter, conceding no points, and considering all Seattle had to do was score a touchdown to win this game, we're known for blowing a lead. We had the lead going into the 4th quarter, and we managed to keep it. So that is one thing I would give the defense praise for. When it came to the 4th quarter, at the end of the game, despite Marcus Mariota going 13 for 20, 229 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 pick, having 2 fumbles, 1 recovered and 1 loss, and the Seattle Seahawks absolutely destroying us when it comes to the receiving game. Look at this. Like I said, Tyler Lockett, 9 receptions, 76 yards. DK Metcalf, 5 receptions, 64 yards. Kobe Parkinson, 2 receptions, 44 yards. Will Dissly, 3 receptions, 34 yards. Marquise Goodwin, 2 receptions, 31 yards. They had 5 receivers all over 30 yards compared to our 3. We only had 3 receivers over 30 yards. And if I keep going, Noah Fant, 27 yards. DJ Dallas, 17 yards. Penny Hart, 15 yards. Kenneth Walker, their running back, 14 yards. And even though we did average better on terms of receiving, it's just a whole big difference. And this is the one thing that really bothers me about this game. 32 receptions, 325 yards. Geno Smith played like Tom Brady. And Tom Brady lost today. Geno Smith played like Tom Brady against the Atlanta Falcons. And there's one reason and one reason only for that. And that is due down to the defense not playing good enough. But like I said, 4th quarter, I will give the defense their fair praise. They conceded they didn't let any touchdowns or field goals come. Because Seattle had beaten us today, I would have honestly said this. Arthur Smith needs to be fired. But when it comes to my video about who I think will be the quarterback, get ready for that because that'll be a whole nother topic. And when I finally see the highlights for this game, I better not see any bad plays with Marcus Mariota because I'm already gonna trash him when it comes to my podcast, so it could possibly get worse. But anyway, guys, I want to thank you guys for watching this video. I'll see you guys all later. Peace.